Wings of Fire, Book 6, Moon Rising, Chapter 15. Winter's words had an instant effect on the other three dragonets. He's right, Kinkajou realized. How? What? Turtle's mind was as opaque as ever, but he shifted on his talons and gave Moon a curious frown. Worst of all was Kibli. How did she know? She couldn't have done this, could she? She's a dragon with secrets, and Thorn said not to trust Nightwings, but why would she? I know I haven't figured her out yet, but I don't see violence in her. And yet, how did she know? But if she set the fire, why would she try and stop us from going in? But surely she wouldn't. She couldn't have. I can't even believe I'm thinking this. Sorry, but you didn't have anything to do with, he started. No, Moon cried, of course not. She brushed away tears, trying to keep her voice steady, trying not to think about Carnelian, or how everything was now falling apart. I would never hurt anyone. I know, Kibli said, but not convincingly. She was a better hunter than I expected. There is strength beneath those scales. In the right circumstances, wouldn't any dragon be capable of hurting another? Even her? But why? If you didn't do it, then do you know who did? Turtle asked. He hadn't spoken since the blast. He hadn't moved from his spot by the wall until he came chasing after them. He looked shaken, but not destroyed. Moon wished she knew what he was thinking. Did he suspect her too? Or maybe you saw something, Kinkajou suggested hopefully. Something that warned you. That might work, Darkstalker said. At least two of them want to believe that. Start with a lie, and then build from there. I don't want to tell them any lies, Moon pointed out. Even the ones they want to believe. She pressed her front claws together, feeling a wrenching fear all through her chest. Her mother was echoing through her head. Never tell anyone about your curse. Never let anyone find out. It will be the end of everything. There is only one explanation, Winter hissed through his teeth, looking down his snout at her. You did this. You set that fire. I don't know why yet, but I will find out. The other explanation was there, hovering at the edge of his mind. But he couldn't bring himself to believe it yet. He'd been so sure that the Nightwings were lying about their powers all along. I swear I didn't, Moon said. She spread her wings helplessly. Please believe me. Can't you tell us how you know? Kinkajou pleaded. Moon couldn't speak. She felt as if there were claws clamped around her throat, as though her worst fear was trying to choke her so she wouldn't reveal her secrets. Winter stared at her for a long minute, and then he lashed his tail, spikes clattering against the stubby pillars dotting the floor. I will give you one chance, Nightwing. You have until midnight tomorrow to tell me the truth, or I'm going to tell everyone what you did. He took a step toward her, and she flinched back. I knew Nightwings couldn't be trusted, but I was starting to think maybe you were different. Clearly, I was wrong. He stalked out of the cave. Moon buried her face in her talons, shaking. Kinkajou reached for her hesitantly. The doubt in Kinkajou's mind, of all dragons, made Moon want to disappear completely. I don't understand, Kibli was thinking, and that was clearly an unfamiliar and uncomfortable experience for him. His brain kept circling all the possibilities, including the truth, but he kept staying away from it. Moon knew it wouldn't be long before he came to it, though. But he wasn't the first one there. 3 moons, Turtle said. Glowing lines lit up along his wings and neck, making him shimmer eerily in the dark. He took a deep breath, staring at her with wide eyes. It was a vision, wasn't it? You can see the future, Kinkajou gasped. No way, she whispered. Admit nothing, Darkstalker advised. Stay secret, stay hidden, stay safe. Her mother's mantra echoed in her head. There didn't seem to be any chance out of that now. Moon looked down at her talons and nodded. What? Kinkajou cried. What else have you seen? Anything about me? When did you know? Kibli asked, taking a step back away from Moon. But all those powers are supposed to be gone. So who's lying to us? The Prophecy Dragonets, the Nightwings, or Moon, or all of them? About the explosion. How long did you know without telling anyone? I just saw it. Moon said. It was right before the class started. Sometimes the visions came months before something happens. Sometimes it's only a few minutes. I never know. It's not like it's a helpful power. But it is, Kinkajou said, bewildered. Monkeys and mangoes. I'd love to be able to see the future. You saved us. Maybe she could have saved the others too, Ghibli thought. If she'd told us it was a vision, if we'd known what was going to happen, we could have stopped them. If she'd told the truth, if we'd known about her power beforehand. She saw Carnelian in his head, tangled up in his guilt that he should have tried harder to stop her from going in. Would you have believed me? She asked him. If I told you I had a vision? I would have, Kinkajou said, wounded, and Moon realized with a bunch of guilt that was true. Who else knows that you can do this? Ghibli asked. Can all of the Nightwings see the future? No one knows, she said, wincing as a flash of pain from her injury suddenly zigzagged through from her head down to her spine. And as far as I know, no one else in the tribe can do this, apart from my secret friend, the legendary monster Darkstalker, of course. Is that it? Turtle asked. Or is there anything else we should know? He inhaled sharply, looking suddenly more awake than he ever did. Can you read our minds? Kinkajou and Ghibli stared at her, their eyes wide. This is the last moment they'll like me. This is how I lose them. Moon felt as though she was standing at the edge of a precipice, with howling winds below her, waiting to smash her into the mountains. All of her mother's great fears, the whole parade of nightmares she'd been watching her entire life, went marching through her head, dragons shunning her, dragons screaming at her, dragons setting her on fire, dragons locking her up and forcing her to use her powers for them, but mostly dragons hating her. Everybody hating her forever. Just lie, Darkstalker whispered. Hold on to your one advantage. Secret, hidden, safe. But Moon could hear what her friends were thinking too. Ghibli, won't she just lie to us? How can I trust her? How will I ever know if she's lying? And Kinkajou, the dragon who wanted to be her best friend. I believe in Moon. She'll tell us the truth. How could she be the deceitful Nightwing Winter thought she was, when she had the choice to be the dragon Kinkajou saw? Yes, Moon confessed. I can read your minds. I'm sorry. She turned to Kinkajou. I'm really sorry. I can't help it. It just happens. It's always happening. I can't turn it off. Please, please don't tell anyone. Is she hearing my thoughts right now? Ghibli wondered. He clearly saw the answer on her face, because he took another step back. What has she heard? The pace of his thoughts incredibly sped up, as he seemed to flash through all the possible things she might have seen. All my plans to get other dragons to like me, my nightmares about my family, my thoughts about her, how many embarrassing... she must know. I can't. Has she been laughing at me this whole time? No, Moon cried. I really like you. He grabbed his head as if he was trying to keep his thoughts inside, and then flared his wings. What if I accidentally think about one of Thorn's secrets or one of the hidden dens of the outlaws? Secrets she didn't understand started spilling through his head. Or what if she hears some of the terrible things I think about other dragons? Who would ever like me if they knew what I thought about everyone? Talons and tails, he mumbled. This is not okay. I have to get out of here. He turned and bolted through the cave entrance, disappearing beyond the torchlight. But I don't understand, Moon thought, half to herself, half to Darkstalker. He never thought anything more terrible than any other dragon. He's more interesting and kinder and more insightful on the inside than almost anyone else I've met. He doesn't know that, Darkstalker pointed out. He's never seen inside anyone else, the way you have. After a few years of reading minds, you'll see. It's often the most brilliant dragons who are the most insecure, and the ones who are the most afraid of having their minds read, because they think they must have the worst, lowest thoughts of anyone, are nowhere near as bad as the ones who complacently don't care, because they assume everyone else is as terrible as they are. Mostly, everyone is terrible, by the way. I wish you'd told me, Kinkajou said. Her head was spinning. I thought she was going to be my best friend, but all along she was hiding this huge secret from me. And now Carnelian is dead, and Tamarin is hurt, and someone tried to blow us up. And there are all these grumpy dragons here, and school is nothing like I expected. I wish it was yesterday. I wish none of this had happened. I wish someone who could see the future had maybe stopped all of this from happening. I'm sorry, Moon said again, hunching her shoulders miserably. I was afraid. It's not exactly the first thing I tell other dragons. Well, it should be, Kinkajou said fiercely, enough to make Moon flinch. If you're going to be in our heads, hearing everything, then you should at least warn your friend. And if you're seeing the future and it's bad, then you really have to tell someone. I don't understand you. I didn't want you to hate me, Moon said. Well, did you want me to trust you? Kinkajou demanded. Because this is the opposite of how I do that. Orange and red were starting to flicker through her scales. Why am I even bothering? She knows what I think. She can hear it all herself. I have to check on Tamarin. I need to think. The kind of thinking that's just between me and me, she added sternly. And then she was gone too, leaving Moon with Turtle. That's what happens, Darkstalker said with a sigh. But don't worry, they'll come crawling back when they need you. I don't want them to crawl, Moon thought with a shudder. And now what do I do about Winter? If Kibbley and Kinkajou reacted that badly, won't he hate me even more than they do? Think I set that fire. Everyone will think I set that fire. That I killed Carnelian and Bigtail. She sank to the floor, wrapping her wings around herself, and started to cry. After a moment, she felt a wing gently brush her back. Even when he was touching her, she couldn't sense anything but a quiet fuzz from Turtle. He looked down at her with his dark green eyes. Come with me.